What's going on, guys? Repeat back with you Wednesday night. That means it's time for another NNR Xfinity race. Just like the trucks, we are back, and good old New York State, Watkins Glen International, or Watkins Glen Speedway, Watkins Glen Road Course, whatever you want to call it. Either way, man, we are in for one hell of a battle here, and expert, these points among the Xfinity drivers due to the parity in the racing all season long is intense. I mean, when we're talking about points, they are really close. Like first to second is 3 points. First to third is 6 points. First to fourth is 11 points. Then 15 points, 18 points, 19 points. So go from first to seventh is under 20 points. Whoever wins, if it's among those guys, we could have a huge point swing tonight. How are you, sir? Who you got your eye on, and are you ready to go?
I'm definitely ready to go for some more NNR action, and these guys, you just mentioned it, how wild it's going to be in this playoff format. We've talked about it all year. The Xfinity series has brought the heat. These guys have came to play, and I wouldn't even say play is the right word. These guys have came and have some business to settle. Tonight, you're exactly right. The pressure is on. This is one of the tracks that anybody can win, especially if you're a road course ringer. If you can come out here, ovals aren't your strong suit. You come out here, pick up a win, or put on a impressive performance. This could swing the playoffs back into your favor. There's a lot of guys I'm looking at out here tonight. Commando Griff, iRace Clean, KFB, King Mathers, and Yotes King, who I believe could be a guy to win here tonight. There's a lot of different guys. Of course, I'll give my official pick at the end of stage 2, but we are in for one heck of a night with some more NNR action.
And you know what, just to show everybody exactly what I'm talking about, there you go. I hear that can of Ray's Energy being opened right there. But I'm going to show everybody exactly what they're seeing. Baritone Boss, thank you very much for the follow. Definitely appreciate it. Let me see if I can get rid of these Rays cans. There we go. But yeah, you look at these points while we're waiting on that invite. King Mathers, he's got the lead. He didn't quite have the finish that he deserved, or I felt he deserved last week. But man, when Q-Dog was able to preserve his tires, was able to go further than anybody else, man, he got it done and closed these points up huge. Commando Griff was in the booth last week. He's only 3 behind King Mathers. Q-Dog now 6 behind, where he was like 23 behind. So again, that win was phenomenal for him. 11 points back to PTH the GOAT. PTH the GOAT is not going to be racing tonight. And then we go back to Combat Beast and KFB 18. This is going to be wild. Now, unlike the trucks last night, these guys do have to have 2 tires on the track, and they can have, the other 2, depending on where they are on track, off track, whether it's over rumble strips, dirt, whatever the case may be. They've got to have 2 tires on the track in any of the corners, turns, bus stop, carousel, whatever. They can't just fly through, or J-Paw might be going back after the race and might be handing out some penalties. We'll have to see.
And you're exactly right. And another factor that J-Paw is notable for, we are on low draft once again tonight. And at Watkins Glen, what that means, any mistake, it's multiplied. If you overdrive a corner, if you go too cautious into a corner, you could lose that gap that could allow you to pull up to the car in front of you, and could eventually lose a bunch of time, especially if you're even with that car. So it all depends on what these guys can do tonight on being mistake-free and knowing when it's the right time to take risk. You have to know this is a track in which anything can happen. You have to stay mistake-free, and you have to know, when to balance those risks and when to play conservative.
Absolutely. Bowling out there in chat saying crazy close points battle with these Xfinity boys. Can't wait to see it play out. Rock NASCAR, buddy, thank you very much for coming out, hanging out. Definitely appreciate every time you come on by. Brandon also out there in chat asking how it's going. Baritone Boss subbing with Prime 4 months in a row. Baritone, buddy, thank you very much. And, man, getting loaded in, getting these guys going. We will have one on board with the one and only Combat Beast. He's actually got a paint scheme. I thought originally he was in the wrong car, but not so much. So it looks like it's going to be the 54 of KFB 18. He's going to be on the pole. He'll have the 8 car of Combat Beast starting P number 2 as they start their parade lap. In third place, going to be the 44 of Baritone Boss with the 20. Somehow I missed somebody. There we go. The 20 of Duramax, Baritone Boss. Then the 13 of Commando Griff. The 22 of the one and only Yotes King. I say it every week. Why not repeat it one more time? J-Pa says he is the best in this double deuce in any of the NNR series. So that's even saying he's better than J-Pa himself. Then we got the 5 of Lil Tank. Lil Tank missed last week, took a little bit of a tumble in the points, but here he is back for a little bit of redemption. Got the 98 of Master Killer. Master Killer was in the booth last night, so it'll be interesting to see if he picked up any pointers on how to run this place, or maybe keeping an eye on some people where they had their breaking points, where they were getting back on the throttle, if they were changing a whole lot of gears or what they were doing. So good luck to Master Killer, and thanks one more time for filling in for you last night up here in the booth to call that truck race. Then we got the 9 of Q-Dog, last week's winner at Phoenix International. Man, that absolutely boosted him up in those points. Good job by him again. One of Cole 315 in that Oreo number 1 Camaro as always. 15 of King Mathers. He's starting a little bit deeper in the field. It'll be interesting to see how long it takes for him to work his way on up if he's able to. Then there's that 0 of LXTX7 and the 18 of iRace Clean in this number 18 Toyota Supra. Man, those monster colors look awesome every time they're out there on track. But Bud, we're coming off of turn number 7 to 54, that double Twix Toyota. He's got the 8 Cross Point Camaro, or Cross something Camaro, to his outside. They are stacked back up, lined up. 54 is taking us green. Take us there, buddy.
And here we go, diving into turn number 1. You got to be able to get the brakes settled out already in this first corner. You're stacked all up with your teammates. Don't want to hit anybody. And here we go. The 54 already trying to pull ahead through the S's. They head up the elevation here, coming off the S's corner. Now going to head down the long back straightaway here as these guys get set up and mentally prepared for, my opinion, the hardest part of the track, the bus stop into the carousel. You see the 54. He's going to get through the carousel, slide a few tires through the inner grass, and here we go into the carousel. Get it down into second. Now you got to shift back up into third, into fourth. Now heading into the last straightaway before the final turns. Here we go with the last 2 turns on the course. He's going to take that left, and then of course the infamous aggressive goes around last corner with this right-hander. You can see the pit road entrance to the right as well. Off the corner, he's going to go ahead and lead lap 1 at the Glen.
Absolutely. KFB 18 getting the first lap in. Everybody behind him, for the most part, very, very clean. 44 of Baritone Boss. I think he might have got sent just a little bit, or wasn't quite able to turn into the bus stop on that last lap. If he gets any kind of a penalty, man, I hope not, because that was absolutely not his fault. He just got kind of knocked up and out of the groove just a little bit. There was one guy up in front of that 54 of KFB. I see a little bit of damage on the front end of the 18. Looking up in front of him. Nope. Okay, I thought maybe he was the one that the 54 was coming up on. Looking forward from KFB 18. Going down the backstretch, heading towards turn number 6, underneath these gated bridge where we've seen many wrecks in actual NASCAR, and they've ended up keeping the car on track. Now turn number 7, looks like the 54, he is catching somebody, but he's going to be able to lead lap 2 as well. And not only is he leading it here, Expert, he's gaining quite a bit of an advantage over P number 2.
And this is what I was talking about. It can always be that one road course ringer that can come in here and shake everything up. KFB this whole time, and I believe we're actually under caution, but KFB this entire time has proven himself As a driver, he could go out here and be competitive. We've seen all through his rookie campaign how well he can be. He has just never had the luck on his side. And you know what? I hate to play, this sounds a little bit of deja vu. Go ahead and hit me for being an Elliott fan. But there was a guy who snapped his winless streak here. Actually got his first career Cup Series win at this track after having a lot of unlucky finishes and a lot of possible winning situations taken away from him. Are we about to see another pattern here?
Man, it is absolutely possible. I mean, that's one thing about this series. There have been 10 or 11 different winners all season long. And why not, have Q-Dog? He broke that winless streak, I shouldn't say winless streak, but a long stretch of races without a win last week. Is it possible for tonight? Absolutely. But one thing's for sure, the 9 of Q-Dog that we're back with right now as he's going through the bus stop, he's going to have to come on down pit road under this manual caution, try to fix the front end of this Exalta Camaro. And man, while the Glen is not really all that well known for aero, him and both the one of Cole 315, I'm going to guess it was those two that tangled up. And a lot of damage to repair, a lot of extra time on pit road. One thing's for sure, that 54 is happy where he's at. No issues, no dirty air, no having to fight around anybody else. He was pulling away and had to be extremely happy about it.
And you're exactly right. And everybody wants to be able to win here at Watkins Glen. In my opinion, this is probably my favorite road course, not only as a driver but as a spectator. And overall, I just believe that this is probably the best track on the game, and I know anybody would definitely want to win here if you're a road course guy, or even if you're not, to be able to put yourself in a position to possibly win. That is definitely going to be something amazing for these guys.
Absolutely. Guys and gals, we're going to take a quick little commercial break. That way anybody that joins here in just a moment or whichever, they don't have to sit through one of those 30-second commercials. If you're out there in your sub, you're going to keep it right here. If not, we will be right back. Just going to grab a quick little drink of my Raise Energy powdered mix, and we will be right back in 30. If you are still there, thank you very, very much for keeping it right here. Thank you very much for the sub. Man, what a great race this is fixing up to be. Glad you're here. All right, as I said, just a quick little 30-second break while everybody was grabbing whatever they could for that first round of a pit stop. I guess I could say. First manual caution of the night. We saw some damage between the 9 and the 1, both members of the famed hashtag JPA militia. So, expert, under that first. Under this first caution, you get a good 15 to 16 seconds maybe to go on down and make any kind of adjustments that you need. On the road courses, most people, from what I hear, they start off on a higher preset bar, and they really don't make a whole lot of adjustments. They just keep it as is and make do. What about you? You mentioned that this is arguably one of your favorite tracks on the game. At a place like the Glen, are you just a stock kind of guy, or are you going to go in? You're going to make a little bit with the wedge, little tire pressure, and maybe little more, a little less tape.
More than likely, I'm just a guy that I'll go with the stock setup, and if I make an adjustment, it's more than likely just to the tape. Add a little bit more downforce, a little bit more acceleration speed, because the biggest thing about here is being able to get off the corners as fast as you can and maintain speed. The best way you can do that is through your acceleration and being able to stay at a certain pace off the corners and going into the corners. So that's what I'm looking at with guys like Commando Griff, who just went down for a few seconds and came out. These guys could have possibly just taken tape to be able to help them, or made a slight adjustment, maybe fuel only, something like that, to get track position as well. So when we see these guys down into the corner, we're already seeing contact near 4 wide in the back. Guys going wide out. I see Little Tank got pushed up there, but the 54 is going to take advantage with those new 4 fresh tires. He's going to clear the 13 for P number 1.
Yeah, you're talking about coming off corners and really getting the throttle. The 13 was super anxious, able to lead it to that line, but the 54 was able to get on past him. Whole lot of tire off track for that 54. I don't believe he actually was on the track at all. J-Pod would have to go back and take a look at that, but 13 of Commando Grip trying to hold tight. P number 2, and the guy that started P2 on the night, the driver of the 8 Camaro, that's the South Point Chevrolet, old Combat Beast, our one and only on board tonight. And in fact, as he comes on by the start stripe this time, we'll go ahead and grab a lap count, see exactly what we've got left here in stage number 1. So far, just 1 manual caution. Everybody else behind him, for the most part, single file.
And you're exactly right. And one thing to look out for, we've seen a lot of contact already happen in the 5 and 20 going at it, the 22 and now 13 going at it. Guys making contact. One around in the back, actually. It's going to be the 98 of Master Killer. Luckily, he collects nobody else. He's going to get it going once again. So I do not believe we'll get a caution. But I mean, one thing to look at is, like, at road courses, this is the one thing I'll say. These type of tracks will probably have more contact than what you would see at a short track. There's a reason our good old buddy T and Vols loves these tracks so much. Not only is he extremely fast on his own with his great speed there, but also we both know, being close friends with him, I've raced with him for a while, we both know he's a sucker for great, gritty, short track racing, I guess would be the best way to say it. And these guys that go at it, make a little bit of contact, making moves throughout the corner, this is definitely where you see it. And like I said, these guys, expect them to have a little temper flare here and there as we go through the race. We've seen it before, even in real life. Expect it here tonight as NNR takes the track.
Wow, some just have it right there between the 15 of King Mathers and the 1 of Cole 315. One just, when the 15 checked up going to the turn, the 1 just stayed in the gas, just different braking points, I assume, but that really just sent the 1 of Cole around. It completely took him out of his groove, and braking points, throttle points, whatever, to get into the corner. So the 15 of King Mathers now up ahead of the 9 of Q-Dog. Again, last week's winner. 1 car way up high, unable to control. Looks like he might be just a little loose. 9 able to try to keep it pinned down, pulling right back up on the back bumper of the 15. They've got 1 up ahead of them, but you're about to see a little bit of a battle here. If the 1 and 15 are having some kind of an issue, you might see old Q-Dog exact a little, I don't know. We might see a little bit of contact here.
And you're exactly right. With all these guys all mixing it up together, that was my exact point, that we may see some tempers flare by the end of the night. A lot of guys already have damage. We've seen a lot of guys make contact. And like I said, if there's one place that tempers flare more than short tracks, it's definitely here on road courses, especially when time costs you so much. And also something that costs you so much, and I want to be able to point it out, we've seen how much tires can cost you at different tracks. Here on road courses, it's not that bad of a difference. Maybe on restarts, yes. But right here on board with the 13 of Commando Griff, we knew he didn't take anything as far as tires, and he's still sitting right here in P3 and at a competitive distance from both the leader and second place. One thing I will say, and me and our buddy Vols did a little bit of fun runs and testing here a few weeks ago, actually prior to Phoenix, in which a lot of these guys should expect for the tires to actually get better as the run goes on, and for you to get faster as the run goes on and the track comes to you. That's something that you really wouldn't expect, but that's the one changeover that a lot of people see coming from oval racing all the way to road course racing. So keep an eye on that.
Yeah, still keeping it right here with the 13 of Commando Grip. Big shout out to the one and only Tree Wade, subscribing at Tier 1 2 months in a row. Tree Wade, thank you very much. There is Canine Media saying, hello, Pete, and hey, what's up, expert? Then the one and only Bowling. Man, guy that's got a steadfast hold on that Truck Series Championship. Unless someone can snag it from his grip. He gifted a sub to the one and only Rock NASCAR. Pro Top out there saying Commando Grip Fan Club reporting for duty. And then, of course, Rock NASCAR thanking the one and only Bowling for that sub. I got to think if Stout Whiskey was out there in chat, he'd be loving the colors on this number 13 for Commando. Kind of looks like the old, or not allowed to say old, because the existing Miami Dolphins colors. Looks pretty good going around the track. Really no damage to it. A little bit of, extracurricular activity throughout the pack. The one of Cole 315, he looks like he was driving just a little mad. Really dove it underneath the zero of LXTX7, was able to take the spot. But man, you got to do what you got to do to get up and get going through the field when the going's good, or while the tires are still at a peak level before they start to wear off. Although, like what you just said about getting faster, Cowboy, NNR Cowboy said something very, very similar to that last night in the chat. That as the run went on and the tires got worn, he got faster also. So it might be a thing here at the Glen.
It most certainly is, and every time I've raced here, as far as my league racing career, you've always felt the car get faster. You're always faster here after the first lap. The first lap is more of a testing out, seeing how the tires feel on the car, trying to get back in your rhythm. I've always seen a pattern, especially for my driving style. I'm always faster on, let's say, the 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th lap of the run than I was in the first 5 laps. So as the run goes on and you get into your rhythm and you feel the car coming to you and you get more comfortable, then you should expect to get faster. One thing on these new colder tires is you'll get a real tight sensation whenever you're trying to turn up the S's, turn into turn 1, get through the bus stop. It'll be a little bit more tighter and will begin to free up as the run goes along. But like Pete mentioned, after you get past the certain point where the tires are at their prime, you'll see the car getting too free throughout the corners, and that's when we can see a lot of guys start spinning out or possibly getting into accidents and overshooting corners.
Yeah, I've been riding around right now with the 8-car Combat Beast. I'm actually going to go ahead and switch up this view. Let's go ahead and take a lap around the Glen with old Combat Beast. And y'all out there in chat can go ahead and crank it up and let us know what you think. Here we go. Big thank you to the one and only Combat Beast for bringing us around the Glen with his onboard, watching the 18 of KFB, I'm sorry, the 54 rather, of KFB 18 all the way around. and man, doing a phenomenal job. The 8 car during qualifying, he thought that he had some kind of that he wasn't going to be fast enough, and he actually started outside pole to be able to watch him really jam through the gears, where he's getting on the brakes, where he's getting on the gas. It seems like he's got this track down, and man, he's not sitting all that far behind in points. Man, Combat Beast could be in for one hell of a great finish if he's able to finish where he is now, or maybe even get one spot better. And next time he comes on by the start stripe, as he goes through turns 6 and 7 right now, we'll see what we got left as far as laps. It's not going to be many.
And one thing to keep an eye out for that I'm looking at is his lap times throughout this. He just ran a 1:09.068 with 6 laps to go. And the difference I'm seeing between him and the 54 is he is catching him what it looks to be a few tenths a lap, especially on the later half of the straightaways here and on the later half of the track in general. He seems to just be better than the 54. The 54 really showing that short to mid-run speed, but it seems like the 8 is just faster on the long run than his counterpart in the 54. So as this run goes on and we head around to get to 5 laps to go this time by, it's going to be a real question on, can this 8 get up there and challenge that 54 for the stage 1 victory?
Man, well, I'll tell you what, he, like you just mentioned, he ran that 109 flat. In qualifying, he messed up and ran a 109.6. So that means he's got the speed, he knows the track, he knows his points to get off the gas and when to when to get back on. So again, I'm really looking for big things out of both the 54, the 8, and maybe even a couple others. Once they get racked and stacked back up, like you said, very low on laps left here in stage number 1. Guys have been battling it out since the start. I don't think it's going to end anytime soon. First chance I get to go through the field will do. A running order rather will do just that. Bama, Mama Balls, what's happening? Good to see you. Thanks for coming out. Iron Man, good to see you as well. Thanks for checking in. K9 Media, I couldn't agree with you more. There is a lot of this grass tore up. I think before Dan the Lawman gets in that 41 ride tomorrow night, he might just take a couple laps around, assess the damage, and bill NASCAR, bill NNR for the time and tools and seed and all that to get the Glen back in order. Unforgotten Shadow now checking in, says he wants to go home. 4 laps remaining. Expert getting down to the nitty-gritty, getting down to end in stage 1. We'll have to see if that 8 car is able to make up any more time, maybe close the gap and steal max points here in stage number 1.
Oh, well, he's definitely getting close. I can tell you that. He just ran another 109 flat, and he's been running those laps consistently now, and he is now to the back bumper. And what I'd have to say is the 54's best area of the track. The 54 keeps cutting through the bus stop, so we know it's going to be assessed by J-Paw after this race to see if that is legal. It's been very questionable on my end on what I'm saying, but of course it's different on all screens, so it's going to be a big question for that as well. But that 8 otherwise has still been catching this 54. He's using every bit of the track that he legally can, and coming to the final turn, I believe we're heading to 3 laps to go now. This is as close as he's been off the exit of the last corner to that 54. He's all the way to the back bumper. This time by, he just ran a 109.2 with 3 laps to go now. So he is setting up. We have a battle for the lead.
Yeah, we are going to have a battle for the lead, and maybe we'll actually go ahead and take that real time on that last lap if that's when it happens. Brom, what's happening, man? Good to see you. Thanks for coming out. Absolutely appreciate you there as well. Keeping an eye from the 8 cars perspective at that 54, you mentioned the 54 Twix going through the grass. There he is. He got two of it. He's got his left sides on those rumble strips and his right sides, on the track. So he was all legal right there. But man, this is turning out to be one hell of a battle. 54 is going to come in to block. The 8 car is going to have the inside line. Will the 54 be able to stay in the gas? They're going to come side by side off 6, side by side into turn number 7. And I think the 8 has them right there. 54's actually got to go down for pit road right now. How unfortunate is that to get close to running out of gas 2 laps before the end of stage 1. If the 8 of Combat Beast can make it, he's got one hell of a lead over second place. Man, that could be huge for the points for that 54.
You're 100% right. I didn't even notice this was a fuel race until right then. Now looking at the data that the 8 of Combat Beast is showing us on his side, he has 2 laps of fuel going through the bus stop. I'm waiting to see where it switches. I can definitely hear from his engine sounds that he is letting off. That carousel, that downhill section is his best friend. So I'm going to see, he already hit 2 laps before he hit the final corner. So I'm going to see here when he switches. Going into turn number 6 and around turn number 7, the light just came on. Coming to 1 to go this time by. It's going to be a big question here. He accelerates down the front straightaway, going to take the white flag in this stage, still on 2 laps. I believe he's going to make it.
Yeah, I believe he's going to make it as well. The estimated fuel gauge on his car just switched over to 1, so he should be good to go as long as he doesn't over-rev the engine. Getting to the bus stop, usually the motor is redlined. There's not much you can do about it. He doesn't want to downshift to 3rd because that's extra fuel being fed into the motor. He just has to take it easy. He should be good to go. Riding along with the 8 car through the bus stop, all clean, no issues. Getting into the carousel, keeping it as low as possible. He has nobody anywhere near him. He's just has to be able to manage his car itself. If he was loose, he can back it down. He doesn't have to worry about anything. It looks like Combat Beast. He's going to come to the line off of turn 6. Now getting to turn 7, heading to the straightaway before that mighty green and white checkered flag comes out to congratulate him on stage number 1. That's going to be it for Combat. Great job by him. Commando Griff, P2, Duramax, P3, Yotes King in that double deuce, P4, and that double 4 of Baritone Boss. He's going to bring it home in P number 5. Man, what a great job by both him and the 54. I'm going to guess, that the 54 stayed out or chose not to take fuel when everybody else went down trying to keep the car light. That might have been his downfall right there. But we're going to take a quick little break. Y'all want to know how to follow NNR? We'll go ahead and head on over here, but we will be right back. 30.
Hey NNR fans, don't miss any of the action by following or subscribing to Repeat's Twitch channel. Turn on notifications and you'll always know when the best preset league on Xbox hits the track. Check out his YouTube channel too to see all of NNR's past races. Follow No Name Racing as well as Repeat 1975 and others on Twitter, and you'll never miss any of the action.
As always, anytime we take a quick little commercial break, you don't miss a thing. We're going to go ahead and work our way up front. Of course, it's going to be the 8-car Combat Beast, the 13 of Commando Griff to the outside. Expert takes back green. Stage number 2 underway.
And these guys, they're actually going to take a pace lap around, I believe, to allow these guys to get in the order that they want to be. We know, of course, that these guys, or it could, J-Paw could be enforcing single file restarts. That could be a question here on what he's planning to do. But these guys going single file off the jump, of course, if they double up, we know it's for them to choose their lines. But this is going to allow these guys to be able to save a little bit of gas, be able to get ready for this stage, get refocused. But of course, the big story is still the 54. He dominated stage 1 all the way up to 2 laps to go. Had to go down pit road to get service for that 54 Supra. And now he's all the way. He's lost a good bit of track position. He's all the way in the back. He's got a ways to make up.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is absolutely going to help everybody with a little bit of gas. Those that have the shifter, right now, they're giving it a little bit of gas and laying off, throwing it in neutral, which is exactly what the 8-car of Combat Beast is doing. You can see him give it a little bit. He'll jump up ahead of the 13, then fall back. When he came out of the pits, he had 15 laps of fuel in the tank, so we'll have to see exactly how many laps consist of stage number 2. But yeah, long line behind this South Point Camaro for Combat Beast. He has the 13 of Commando Grip in his rear view. You talk about that 54 of KFB 18. He's almost all the way in the back. He's sitting right behind, or right beside rather, the 98 of Master Killer. There ahead of him you see the 0 of LXTX7, the 15 of King Mathers, and others. It's going to be a great restart. 8-car's able to choose which line he wants. It looks like he chose the inside. Unforgotten Shadow, to answer your question, that should be the one and only TN Vols. We're going to get back up front and get ready to go. Expert, we're back up with the 8, the 13, the 5, and others. Going back green, sir.
And here we go. That 8's going to be able to clear out of the restart zone. A great run in the turn number 1 for him. These guys going to check up, try to get woed up so they don't slam into their counterparts. And here we go. These guys all trying to make up track position now. And that 54, he's stuck behind the battle already. This is what I'm talking about, how important track position can be. You can be extremely fast here, but as long as you're stuck behind somebody, that can really hinder what speed you can put down. As we can see guys already spreading out all over the track. Contact 1544 going into the bus stop. These guys able to control it, but you can see how wild it is for these guys. The 20 ahead of them as the 54 and 15 still running side by side. 15 is going to get the exit off the carousel. 20 went wide there, but he's able to maintain it. But that 54 looking to try to get back into the top 5. But we're about to have a battle for the lead here. Here comes the 13 of Commando Griff.
Yeah, Commando Griff getting closer and closer. 54 of man, these names, I tell you. 54 of KFB 18 and the 15 of King Mathers right now, they're nose to tail. We're going to go ahead and pull on up to Commando Griff. Honestly, you're fast. I can't say honestly you're bad, because you're not. Out there in chat pulling for the one and only iRace Clean in those monster colors. Let's go ahead and pull up iRace Clean right now. See exactly where he's at. He's actually kind of hard into that inside wall. Coming up through the S's right now, riding right behind. I believe that's going to be either the 1 of Cole 315 or the 0 of LXTX7. iRace, oh man, that was close. Almost completely took out the guardrail going into the bus stop. Whole lot of dirt flying off the nose of this number 18. That could, man, if that was iRacing, he would have such an issue right now. He would have to pit because he'd be overheating. Good thing it's just heat 5, and yeah, not that realistic.
But one thing that is realistic when it comes to this game is the fuel you have to save. Coming off the corner, Combat Beast, he's going to round that final corner. Looking at his fuel right now, these guys are at 13 of 14 laps on fuel. What was the one thing that allowed Combat to win stage number 1? My favorite phrase, fuel conservation. He just let the top 3 scoot on by him, and you can definitely tell by his engine and how he's running. He is not full throttle, not one bit. So the one thing to keep an eye out on, can this 8 save another lap of fuel and set himself up for a Stage 2 victory?
I can't think of any other reason why somebody would just flat out give up the lead. Arashikala, thank you very much for the follow, sir. Definitely appreciate you. Thanks for coming out, hanging out, and keeping everybody company. Been a pretty good race so far. I believe we had one manual caution and then just the stage break. Other than that, it's been a whole lot of green flag racing, some 2 wide, once or twice a little bit of 3 wide racing, but nonetheless doing a great job. Right now your leader is going to be the 13 of Commando Griff, guy that spent some time in the booth last night. 13 laps remaining with car number 13 in the lead.
And actually now I believe it's going to be the 5 of Little Tank. I believe he might have just taken the lead as we head around this corner. And what an upset that would be to see the 5 go into victory lane. He's up here. He's now taking the lead, and I think Commando Griff has finally taken the understanding of what Combat is doing. He just gave up another position to the 20 as well. So right now I think he's like, okay, I see the game you're playing. The 8 now yielding a position to the 54 as he goes extremely wide into the carousel. And that 54, I don't think he's worried about fuel. I think that track position is the game he's playing.
Yeah, you see that 54 sitting right here behind the 13 of Commando Griff. Commando Griff now back in P number 3. So top 5 all pretty much on the same part of the track. It is getting a bit more spread out. You saw the 5 car of Lil Tank really smash that guardrail going into the bus stop, but able to keep it going. Now the 54 getting on by the 13. 54 is just flat hauling the mail. He wants to get back up there and prove that the track position that he had to that it wasn't a fluke, him leading just about all of stage number 1.
You're exactly right, but the one thing I'm keeping an eye on, Combat has already saved over half a lap of fuel. He only needed to save 1, so that's another lap of fuel he needs to save, and that was just in the process of 2.5 laps itself. And we still have, we're on 12 to go, coming to 11 to go. If he can do that same thing, expect that 8 and probably the 13 as well to be hard charging back up through this top 5.
Very, very spread out in the back right now, riding along with the 1 Oreo Camaro for Cole 315. He can see the leaders. He said last week at Phoenix, any cars that he caught up to, he was going to go ahead and just kind of reach out and not only say hello, but throw a bag of Oreos at him. Right now, the 1 car gets to right, or he's able to keep the 22 of Yotes King in his rear view. So 11 laps to go, keeping an eye on the 1. Could that be an omen? I don't know. If we have a caution, that's going to be enough for everybody to save that 1 lap. But oh, by the way, Bowling out there in chat also says, note on fuel, you can go over half a lap with 0 on the fuel gauge. So maybe Combat Beast knew that. I mean, he was very, very close. Did he figure, hey man, if it switched to 1, even if it switched to 0, I'd be on that final lap, I'd be golden. So he stayed out with what he saved. So far, I mean, the people up front right now don't really seem like they're doing that. They are just going flat out.
And that's the praying for a caution mentality. We had it in stage number 1, so with that filling out process, they were expecting another one. Obviously, that has not happened, but right here, I'm listening to the engine tone of this 54, and I think even though he's caught this top 2, he's starting to realize the same thing. He's not really getting into the throttle at the points I heard earlier. In fact, he's out of the throttle for most of the corner from what it sounds like, and he's able to ease back into it onto the straightaway. So the one thing that I'm thinking about is that he is trying to conserve, but of course not as heavily as this 8 and 13 has, as the rear pack has actually caught them. As you can see on the 8's onboard, that 18 of iRace Clean, he's closing in from behind.
Yeah, 18 coming in fast, got that monster power underneath that hood. But I'll tell you what, I'll take a Raise energy drink any day over a Monster. No carb, no sugar, all kinds of time-release caffeine, low on sodium. And I tell you what, I tried this flavor right here. It's like a pink Starburst exploding in your mouth, just flat awesome. Man, there's so much. I haven't come across a single flavor yet with any of the Insider cans that I've gotten in the mail, along with T-shirts and some extra little baggies like this drawstring bag that came in today. Pretty cool. But I haven't come across a flavor that I didn't like.
And that, you talk about how great the Raise Energy products are, and you know what's crazy? I mean, yesterday I was so loopy getting out of bed, I was thinking, hey, Pete is right. Maybe I need a Raise Energy. Because you know what? I got in my car and I forgot a piece of my work attire. I forgot my mask that I have to wear at work. So I had to go back in, go through the whole cycle of finding it, and I had to get back ready and go out to the car, make sure the car was warmed up and everything. It was a whole cycle in which I was late for work. And one thing I'm lucky about, I'm not missing my work attire for commentating with you tonight. I am wearing my very own NNR polo shirt that, where you can find it. The Zazzle tab on NNRLeague.com. You can find these polo shirts. You can find the fastest coffee mugs in all of Xbox League Racing. You can find regular t-shirts, stickers, tags, whatever your heart desires, you can find it on there, including the new iRacing merchandise. And be sure to check it out all on the Zazzle tab on NNRLeague.com. And to keep up with the points here, we're in the playoffs. We know you want to check out and see how your favorite driver's doing. You can do that on there as well. So be sure to check it out all on NNRLeague.com.
I tell you what, talk about NNRLeague.com, the points, the Zazzle tab, and all that. Just as you say that, the one and only Coey, the owner of NNR, checks into the chat, says, hey, Pete, came to check the end of the action after his son's baseball game. Well, Coey, hopefully Chris had a good game. Thanks for coming out, hanging out, chatting it up. I have a question for you after the race, so please, by all means, stick around. But Coey, all good, very fast so far. They got about 7, maybe 6 laps to go here in stage number 2. As Rusty Wallace used to say, they've just been flat flying around Watkins Glen International. 8-car Combat Beast took stage number 1 after the 54 of KFB 18 wasn't able to make it on fuel, but that doesn't mean he wasn't on his back bumper for the entirety of that stage. The 8 kept on closing and closing and closing, and with 2 laps to go, 54 had to go on down pit road. 8-car able to take max points, stage number 1, and we're getting closer and closer to rounding and closing out stage 2. For everybody out there about the Zazzle tab, we'll take a quick look at that. Under the end of this stage, we'll go over to NNRLeague.com, go through the Zazzle tab. You'll be able to look around. But if you want to do it yourself and see a lot of the changes that the one and only Coey has made, go over NNRLeague.com. I put the chat in there. I put the link out there in chat. Go to home and down to Zazzle. You'll see everything that I'm talking about. And when I visited this morning, I think everything under the site right now is 15% off. And we got 6 laps remaining to close out stage 2, expert.
You're exactly right. And once again, this is crunch time for the guys that are not up there in the lead. For guys like the 54 and the 5 and the 20, these guys have to realize that 8 and 13 are coming in fast. And the one thing, if you're the 54, you have to make sure you have enough fuel to make it to the end, because if you don't, you could be in a world of trouble.
Absolutely. We just saw, I think it was the 0 or it might have been the 1 at Colt 315. So it's either LXTX7 or the one that have already gone down pit road. I know everybody's going to be at least 1 lap short on fuel to make it the entirety of this stage. We saw the 8 in the lead. We saw the 13 in the lead. They've dropped back. I'm sure they've saved just a little bit. We'll have to see if the people in front were going flat out or if they were managing the gap back to the car behind them and going to try to finish the stage on what they had, trying to avoid that trip down pit road. 5 laps to go, bud.
And with 5 laps to go, the 8 and the 13, you can see them trying to hawk down this 20 of Duramax, and these guys heading through the S's now going to get to the back straightaway. The big question is, with 5 laps to go, we can see the gap as the 54 is going through the bus stop. These 2 guys in the 8 and the 13, who we know are good on fuel, are just entering the back stretch right through between the S's and the bus stop. So these guys really are trying to push it now to try to get up to this top 3. They have already solidified good spots here at the end of stage 2, but of course we know a top 3 or possible stage win is definitely better than finishing just in the top 5.
I tell you what, big thank you to the one and only J-Pie out there in chat. At the end of each race, everybody always thanks J-Pie for, continuing on, soldiering on, running this NNR Xfinity series. Last night during the truck race, everybody went on through and thanked the one and only Swats for doing the same thing. On Thursday nights, everybody thanks Coey and Stout Whiskey for running the Cup series and doing everything that they do. J-Pie out there in chat dropping bits for every single one of those hashtag J-Pie militia members. 98 bits for the one and only Master Killer, 44 bits for Baritone Boss, 13 bits for Commando Griff, 9 bits for the one and only Q-Dog, and of course 1 solo bit for the one of Cole 315. Got all the card numbers right this time. J-Pop, buddy, thank you very much for all the bits. Definitely appreciate it. Now, I've been keeping an eye on this 54 here, expert. He's coming through turn 6, heading towards turn 7. He's going to be heading towards the straightaway. I believe with the 13 and the 8 car, not too far back. Right now, the 8 is riding in P number 5, and here comes that 54 one more time. Not able to make it on fuel. This bit him in stage number 1. And just as I say that, the 13 and the 8, they go flying on by. But this time, he's got 3 laps to go. And guess what? 3 laps of fuel left in this 8 car. We're going to take a ride on board with this 8 as him and the 13 are about to get down and dirty. Little bit of a battle here. We'll do just like we did before. We'll go ahead and turn up the, you guys out there in chat, go ahead and turn up the volume. It's going to get pretty interesting. Here we go.
To go.
All right, you heard his audio at the very end. 2 laps remaining. Quick lap around Watkins Glen with the leader of the current leader of stage number 2, able to take it because one more time the 54 that we're watching right now not able to go the full distance. I'm not sure if the Toyotas on the game don't get the same fuel mileage or if it's just because he was trying to go flat out on speed, hoping that maybe he'd get a caution and be able to retain his spot. Expert, I'm getting a little bit of an echo, buddy, if you can hear me. Okay, yep. J-Pie out there laughing something that Shadow was saying. Hope you spent that $10 on something good. But man, this 8 car, he can see the 13 in his rear view. A little bit further back, he doesn't have quite the gap that he had at the end of stage 1, But man, it definitely looks like this 8 is, he's ready to pick up this victory. This is the last lap. All he's got to do is hit every single one of his marks here as he goes through turns 1 and 2. At the bottom of the S is going to travel up them. Expert, go ahead and take us the rest of the way. Expert, you still there, bud? If you are, you're on mute.
Oh,
there you go.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, trying to stop the echo, but as the 8 goes through the bus stop, that 13 behind him as he tries to go around and win stage number 2. He heads down the carousel, trying to make sure he has conserved enough. He exits the corner, back into the throttle as we head down the final stretch here at Watkins Glen. He's going to take turn 6. Set himself up for turn number 7 with the wide arc entry, diving it down into 7 and coming onto the front straightaway. Heading down, we have a stage sweeper. Combat Beast winning stage 1 and 2.
Yeah, Combat Beast stage 1 and stage 2. And for a second time in a row, 13 to Commando Grip. He's going to come in P2. Baritone Boss stepping it up from stage 1, coming in P3. Same thing with Yotes. He was in P5 last stage. And then the one of Cole 315, he's able to bring it on home in P5. Master Killer, Q-Dog, KFB 18, Little Tank, and Duramax. They're going to go ahead and round out your top 10 here at Watkins Glen for stage 2. So great job by Combat Beast, man. He messed up his qualifying lap earlier before the race started. He's a little upset with himself. Just goes to show what he's capable of. Guys, we're going to go on over to NNRleague.com. Take a look at the Zazzle tab. We'll be back.
Hey NNR fans, are you looking for a way to rep your favorite NASCAR Heat preset league on Xbox Live? Look no further. Just go to NNRleague.com, scroll down to the Zazzle tab, and see what we have to offer. From t-shirts to hoodies to clocks, we have everything you need to show your support. Thanks for being the best fans, and we hope to see you at the track repping that NNR red.
All right, guys, as always, again, you didn't miss anything at all. Stage number 3 is up. We're going to go ahead and unfurl that flag. Expert, take us around, bud.
These guys getting set up here on the pace lap once again to get set up for stage 3. This is the money stage, the end-all be-all. We know that 8, he wants to put himself in position to win. The 20 ahead of him, he made a strategy called to put himself with the lead here to start out. So a lot of guys know how important this stage is. The big question, will they be able to capitalize on what position they put themselves in? They know what they need to do to be able to win, but the question is, do they have the chance? Do they have the opportunity to be able to capture that checkered flag here today? We're about to find out.
Well, I'll tell you what, while we have a half a lap, we're going to go ahead and take a look, as I promised. NNRleague.com. You see that up in the address bar. And over here under NNR info, go to store. Right now, my camera is kind of covering it. And then scroll on down. Here is that big old Zazzle tab that we were talking about. You're not going to miss anything on track. I absolutely promise. No Name Apparel. Scrolling through a whole lot of things have switched over to NNR Blue from the NNR Red. Got a couple license plates. I know you got that. You got magnets for your car. You got regular stickers. You got iron-on patches. You got masks. I got mine. You got yours. You got an NNR koozie. Of course, the very, very famous Vols towel. There's that t-shirt that you were talking about, and the store is even bigger than that. There's the coffee mugs we're talking about, keeping your coffee hot and your cold things cold. Man, you could just go on and on. Playing cards, golf balls. There's even an NNR Coe mug talking about his iRacing paint schemes. So again, go on over NNRleague.com, do a little bit of shopping. You will not be sorry. I absolutely promise. So let's go ahead and bring this on back and get this back going. They're addressing the start stripe. Here we go.
And here we go, that 20 going to try to get a good jump, but he's still there. The 8 trying to stay even with him. 13 looking to the inside of this 8. The 8 now nearly 3 wide for second. That 44 had to back out. The 8's going to clear off the corner and head up through the S's as these guys go through possibly what I would consider the most technical part of the track. You got to get through the S's, down the back straightaway, and get woed up enough for both the inner loop bus stop and carousel. So here we go. These guys are going to go through it. Pete, this is going to get wild here on this restart.
Absolutely. You want to talk about wild. The 8 just let that slideways all hang out. Man, he absolutely tried to get on by the 20 coming off the exit of the bus stop. No such luck. Going to try maybe the inside of the 20, but right now Duramax, one of the guys that almost missed qualifying, almost missed actually being able to race today, doing a pretty good job. He's got himself up front, the guy that has swept stage 1 and stage 2 because nobody else was able to make it on fuel, sitting in P number 2, and they got a little bit of a gap going back to the rest of the field. 37 laps remaining. That's what's going to make up the rest of stage 3. And if these guys were getting 14 or 15 laps of fuel, everybody will be stopping at least 2 times.
You're exactly right, but they are in position to make it with some fuel saving. Okay, I know you're going to hate me for saying it like that, but either way, these guys still have a chance to make this a one-stop race. We're talking about saving around 4 or 5 laps of fuel. These guys have been saving 2 laps each run. If you save 2 laps in this initial run and then 2 laps later, you could definitely put yourself in a position to make this a one-stop race. I'd be excited to see if one of these drivers want to take an attempt at that. I would not be shocked if we see that whatsoever.
No, I wouldn't be shocked either. You know, we saw the 13 of Commando Griff and the 8 of Combat Beast and a couple others really drop back to save at least 1 or 2 laps, where the 54 going flat out was not able to do so and ended up having to pit. Now, he won't have to pit an extra time. It's not that bad, but he wasn't able to go the distance in the first couple stages. With him going out on raw speed, he should be able to get it done in the same amount of stops that the 13 and the 8 car have to do. Could this be where the 54 of KFB 18 is able to shine on that raw speed that he showed early? There are a whole lot of tire tracks going through the grass at the coming out of that bus stop. I mean, there's side-by-side tracks. There are ruts completely pulled up or dug deep in that exit. There, if J-Pod goes back later and watches this race, I don't know how the points could play out if he actually assesses point penalties for everybody going through the grass versus keeping 2 tires on the track and the other 2 wherever they need to go. But man, there's a lot of grass dug up here, expert.
You're exactly right. And you talked about, of course, J-Pa, who he's the owner of this series, or I wouldn't say the owner, but the admin that runs this series, and he drives a awesome number, that being the double deuce, like you like to call it. Well, I'm keeping an eye on the double deuce here of Yotes King. He's sitting right here in P4, and he's setting up a move right now to try to get around this 13 of Commando Griff. I told you that 22 might be a guy you want to look out for as we move through this race, and right here setting himself up in P4, he is putting himself in a great position to win, in my opinion. Of course, it all goes with strategy to see what these guys do, but if this 22 can hold pace, I believe we could see a guy who could put himself in victory lane.
Yeah, I mean, right now the 8 car of Combat Beast, he's up in the lead. You got the 20 of Duramax sitting P2, 13 of my God, Commando Griff sitting in P3, and of course Yotes in this Odyssey Double Deuce sitting in P number 4. Now, you just mentioned it. Yotes, he has improved his spot, or I'm sorry, improved his finishing order by at least 1 or 2 positions throughout stage 1 and stage 2. So if he's able to go up by another 2, Yotes could easily be inside the top 3 when it comes time for post-race interviews. He was setting up the 13, or trying to set up the 13 for a pass earlier, but he's fallen back just a little bit. He hasn't fallen back into the clutches of the car behind yet, but he is losing just a little bit of time to the 13, as there's actually quite a decent sized gap between 4th and 5th.
And the gap you talked about between 4th and 5th, this really shows the separation in packs. But the one thing that you got to keep an eye on is the guy who just put himself into P number 7. This guy, I believe this is going to be P number 6. Let me correct myself. That 54 of KFB, he's looking to try to put himself in the top 5 here as he attempts to catch this 44 and possibly the 22 as well. So you can see he's already making his way up through the field.
Yeah, at 54, with the amount of laps that are in stage, I just mentioned it a minute ago. So with the amount of laps that are in stage number 3 to go ahead and complete this race, he can go all out on speed. He doesn't have to conserve because everybody will have to pit twice. There isn't a single person that can go an extra 7 laps or so. When the 8-car Combat Beast came on by the start stripe last time, 30 laps remaining here in this race. And then, man, we still got another long race tomorrow night. We're going to see the NNR Cup guys come on over and tackle Watkins Glen. Right now, CJMX Rose, driving that 42. He's got a pretty good stranglehold on the points lead. But, the 13 of Lucky Dog, the 48 of the Aviator, the 9 of More Smoke, the 2-car Stout Whiskey, can't forget him. They've all been doing a phenomenal job. I don't know if anybody can catch Rose. If they do, it will, as I was telling Coey at the end of last week's race, it could be an absolute nail-biter, just like the championship race at Atlanta Motor Speedway last season, when it was between Boehner, Aviator, More Smoke, and CGMX Rose. Those were the top 4 for the championship, and man, they did not let anybody down with the finish. You should really go back and watch that. They were 3 wide coming to the checkers for the championship between those 3. Rose ended up being a lap down, but was still there with all of his competition.
Right here, looking at the 8 of Combat Beast, he's still up there in the lead, and I'm looking this time at his lap time as he crosses the stripe. He hit a 109.4, so still staying in the same range, trying to stay as consistent as he can. But you can see he's off his fast pace a little bit by about 4/10. So I'm not sure if this is due to saving or what, but the last time I looked, he had about 8 laps of fuel, should be 7 this time by. So expect the pit cycle to be starting pretty soon as these guys try to head down pit road and get ready for the next run.
I tell you what, that 5-car right now, Little Tank, he is extremely lucky. He caught the inside retaining wall coming up through the S's with the right front of his car, but instead of it actually grabbing and making him go around, he was able to straighten it up, grab a gear, and get back under speed. And just as I say that, you watch the one of Cole 315 go buzzing on by, and now the 0 of LXTX7, he's going to get underneath the 5 and make up another position as well. So the one of Cole 315, he opened the door, the 0 followed through. So the 5 Little Tank only losing 2 spots in that issue with the inside wall. Not bad at all. Again, 30 laps remaining here in the final stage. The 8-car of Combat Beast still continues to lead.
And with him still leading, the biggest question is who's going to be the challenger that'll get up there and give him a fight for this win. Right now, I believe the closest challenger to him is the 20 of Duramax still. He sits right there in P number 2, and you can see as that 8 exits the bus stop and enters the carousel, Duramax is just entering it off the backstretch. He's being challenged by the 13 as well, or could be challenged very quickly by the 13. So a lot of scenarios are playing out on who could possibly go up there and catch that 8. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. Of course, pit strategy is going to be a big question as well. But the one thing that the 8 must do is not crack under pressure. He knows he's in a position to win. He just has to stay, once again, mistake-free and stay consistent.
Big thank you to SC20503958. Buddy, thank you very, very much for the follow. Welcome to the NNR Xfinity Series, live from Watkins, Glen, arguably the best in presets on the Xbox, hands down, but also recently ventured over to the iRacing side. Make sure you, keep that notification on. You never know when this channel's going live. Tuesday nights is the Truck Series, Wednesdays the Xfinity, Thursdays the Cup, Fridays iRacing practice, Mondays iRacing, Saturdays is turned down for what? Sundays is shadow racing. I mean, there is always something going on right here. Again, big thank you for the follow. Absolutely appreciate you. Feel welcome. Kick on back. Feel free to chat it up with everybody else out here. You're in some pretty great company right now.
And you mentioned it, we talked about this earlier. Of course, your best statement, you tell it to me all the time when I'm going through issues and stuff like that, and usually can't be up here in the booth with you, and I hate missing out on the opportunity to be able to work with you. But as you always say, family and life first, or life and family first before anything. And of course, you're going out to be able to hang out with your family tomorrow night, and I just want to go ahead and shout out so we make sure we have the support from the NNR community and they do not miss out on anything. Tomorrow night you will be able to catch up with me and our good buddy VolsFan88 as we cover the NNR Cup Series live. And I just got a message from Terry as we were talking about it. We will be covering it live on the Experts of Racing podcast channel. You can check that out at Experts of Racing on Twitch. Be sure to go ahead and follow if you're not already, so you do not miss out on any of the Cup Series action we have for you tomorrow right here from Watkins, Glen.
Well, Coey, I guess I don't need to talk to you after the race because the cat's out of the bag. I was going to talk to you about Expert Involved actually broadcasting for me tomorrow. That way I was able to spend some quality time with my mother and father-in-law that are in town from Pennsylvania. 27 laps to go. The 8 cars still leading 20 of Duramax. Not too far off his back bumper, and of course the 13 of Commando Griff right there with him as well. He has not let go. Expert, we got a whole lot of time now between a lot of these cars, and I'm seeing them slowed up, woed up. I'm guessing manual caution number 2 is out, and there you see, the leaders really pulling it up. And okay, I'm going to guess that the 18 was not yet able to grab his lap back. And, they'll sort it out amongst themselves. J-Paw's a great admin here in the Xfinity Series. He knows what he's doing. But, man, Expert, this race so far has been absolutely phenomenal. Why, yes, it has, Pete. Thank you. What are you doing, buddy? Where you at? Expert. Well, anyway, maybe he's not such an expert at using his mic. But yeah, send you flyer for tomorrow, Expert, for the exciting broadcast to come. That's right, Expert Racing and the one and only TN Vols, or VolsFan88, will be in the booth right here covering the Cup, guys. Let's see if CJMX Rose can go on up, or if a more smoker, Stout Whiskey, or the Aviator, or somebody else can come on up and snag as many stages and max points to try to dethrone that 42, because between him and the 13 of Lucky Dog, they have absolutely been stealing every single win, including, when I say stealing a win, I'm not kidding. If you go back and you watch the Kansas race, Stout Whiskey absolutely won that race, but for some reason it was credited to CGMX Rose. But I still say Stout won that race. Now you want to say something. Just in time for me to take a quick little 30-second break. Guys and gals, we'll be right back. Just want to grab a quick beverage. We'll be here, promise. Everybody else, if you're still here, big thank you for continuing to pound that subscribe button. It means more than you know. These guys do a great job every week, and I'm glad that I can bring it all to you. It's a whole lot of fun. It really is. And as I always say, NNR is my home. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else. All right, we are back from that little bit of a break. Hopefully that commercial was something good, something you'll get a little bit of use out of. But man, Expert, everybody's done with their pit stop. When the 8-car Combat Beast comes on by, we'll have to grab a lap count now, because that's going to throw 2 stops out the window. I imagine everybody should be able to make it on one, and if that's the case, the 54 has been the fastest just about the entire night. Yeah, the 8-car's been able to get up with them, but the 54, it looks like he's going to be starting in P3. That 8-car may have a brand new challenger.
I believe these guys will actually have to make it down to pit road one more time. I believe they get a little less than 20 laps of fuel, and with it being 57 of 82 completed, these guys are going to be looking to be somewhere in the range of 5 to 4 laps short, somewhere in there. Just looking and trying to crunch the numbers real quick. Of course, my math may be off, but I do not believe that these guys will be able to save enough fuel to be able to make it to the end. So I'm looking at there being at least one more pit stop as we look to go green here.
Absolutely. Vols fan, I see you out there talking about the class that you're in. I know that you are a mod. If you wouldn't mind, can you go ahead and put the Experts of Racing channel in the chat? That way everybody can go on over and smash that follow button and keep the notifications on so they don't miss when y'all go green between 8:30 and 9 o'clock tomorrow night Eastern. And they're all able to get in there and cheer their favorite driver on, cheer y'all on. I'm sure you and Expert will both put on one hell of a broadcast. I'm sure I'll have it live somewhere, whether on my phone, a tablet, or what, while hanging out with some family. Cape Ground. Okay, so one of you mods out there, please go ahead and put the Experts of Racing podcast link. We're getting ready to get this back going. It's going to be the 80 Combat Beast, the 20 of Duramax, I believe that's the 5 right there. Nope, it's going to be the 98 of Master Killer, and then that 54 Double Twix machine. He's going to get both barrels of that carburetor lit, heading down to turn number 1. He's going to try for the lead right at the bottom of the S's. Looks like back to P number 2, but that 54 is coming, Expert.
You're exactly right, and this is where we're going to see nobody's going to back off at this point. They know they can't save. They know they have to get to one more pit stop. So we're not going to see any fuel saving here. We're not going to see these guys, let out for each other, play conservative. They know this is setting up for the money stop. And right here, the 54 knows this is his ball ground. This is his game right now in which he can win. The only person in his way is that 8. We've seen how fast the 54 can be, and this is setting up to be a make-or-break situation for him. He's got to be able to catch that 8. The big question, will he be able to? That 8 has gotten so comfortable out there in the lead. He won stage 1, won stage 2, now setting up to try to win it all. Go for the grand prize of winning the race here in stage number 3. But that 54 is, of course, going to have something to say about that. We cross the stripe once again as these guys get set up for another lap around Watkins Glen. 59 laps out of 82 completed.
That's right, exactly 22 laps remaining. Keep an eye on this 22 of old Yotes King. We talked about him earlier. In stage 1, he finished like 5th or 6th. In stage 2, he finished 4th, I believe. In stage 3, right now, he's sitting in P number 3, just ahead of the 20. And you can't say that the 54 is hungry. I mean, he's driving the Twix car, so he can't be all that hungry. Will he want a Snickers when all this is over? If he's got to snap out of any kind of an issue, we'll have to see. But man, he is all over the back end of that casino car. Is Combat Beast going to be able to roll the dice and take home the win here at the Glen, or is the 54 gonna take care of his appetite with a win here? This is wine country. It might be up for a little bit of drinking later on. 23 to go. I was wrong on the lap before.
But I mean, it's going to be a big question, an even bigger question though, Pete. We're talking about the Twix car. I'm wondering, are you a left Twix or right Twix type of a guy? Which one are you?
Oh, buddy, I'm always right. You should know that.
Oh Lord. About to say that sounds like a Vols thing to say. You might need to say, Vols, you're becoming a bad influence. Come on, buddy.
Oh man, I had to. But man, keeping
you talk about always right. That reminded me of the whole Tom Brady conversation. We're not getting back into that though. What we're going to get back into is this action. These leaders are getting closer to each other there, Pete.
Yeah, leaders getting closer and closer, working my way back there. You see the 8 of Combat Beast and the 54 of KFB 18. He's got the 8, right in his sights. They are literally tit for tat, going up and setting up their corners at the exact same time. It looks like the 8 car gets off of turn 7 just a little bit better than the 54, really able to haul the mail down the straightaway. 54 completely sends it into turn 1, maybe trying to mess with Combat Beast's head just a little bit, because Combat Beast has to see him in that rear view. If he sees him just flat coming and thinks he's not going to hit the brakes, will it make Combat Beast make a mistake? I don't think so. Combat Beast too cool of a customer. One stage 1, one stage 2, trying to come away with the win. This is only race 2 of 6. Whole lot of racing yet to go. Next week, Talladega.
And if you I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I hear there's this certain rules package that we might be using there as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know if SWAT is going to adopt the rule package from J-Pa and Chain Graboid, but I can almost guarantee in the Xfinity Series next week, whether they run setups or not, that rules package will be in effect. And ladies and gents, if you don't know what I'm talking about, make sure you tune in next week or go to Repeat 1975 on YouTube, which is where you can find all of my past streams. You can either look for the race under Shadow Racing League or Turn Down for What, or even right here in NNR. Look for a Daytona or a Talladega race within the last 6 months, and you'll see exactly the rules package I'm talking about. It's like nothing you've ever seen before, and they are at least double, if not triple wide, sometimes 4 wide at many points throughout the track, just because of the rules package that J-Pa took from Chain Graboid to making that the racing that much better. You're not going to want to miss it.
Right here, I'm looking in the back of the pack. We've been so focused on the leaders. Right now, I'm looking at the battle between the 98, 20, 15, 5. All these guys back here, these guys are all clumped together. They went through 6 and 7, nearly too wide for about 2 rows deep here. And these guys are all within striking distance of each other. This is what the pressure of road course racing can put on a driver. As you can see, if you have cars all the way around you, in front of you, behind you, and you have to be able to trust them to make to make moves around you or be able to make the moves to not wreck you and not wreck themselves. And you have to have that trust with these guys, but that puts so much pressure in the back of your mind. Take it from me as a guy who's been league racing for around 4 to 5 years. That can really affect with your driving style and your focus. You have to be able to maintain that and stay, once again, mistake-free to be able to put yourself in a position to win or put yourself in a position to get a good point stay.
There you go, the one and only Coey out there in chat saying Cup will be running that package as well. Again, so go on over to YouTube, search out Repeat 1975. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, and man, it's going to be phenomenal. So I'm going to guess with 19 to go, hopefully we got 19 cars on track tomorrow and 19 cars on track all next week, if not maybe 1 or 2 more, because Talladega tends to be the bigger packs for that pack racing, and I can guarantee you're gonna want to watch all that 2, 3, and sometimes 4 wide, whether it's with setups on or setups off. It's gonna be phenomenal. Nobody likes that bottom line at Dega and Daytona. You know, that long, conga line that ends up happening on the bottom. I can guarantee, absolutely guarantee, you will not see single file racing on the bottom at any of the 3 races next week. Go ahead and call me out on that. I dare you. Come on out, make sure. But man, we're still going through right now. We've been watching the one of Cole 315. Now back up with the 15 of King Mathers all over the back bumper. I think that's the double deuce right in front of him. Not 100% sure. Kind of looks like it. But man, King Mathers absolutely trying to dig and advance his position. It was actually the 98 of Master Killer that he was giving a little bit of a bumper to. And you see the 13 of Commando Griff back there. You see the 18 of iRace Clean and several others. That battle in the back is pretty strong.
Right here, though, this is something we talked about, and I wouldn't even consider these 2 underdogs, but this is a track in which a guy who has been rough on his luck can go win at. An underdog could even come here to win at a track like this. And you were just talking about Dega a few seconds ago. If you think Watkins Glen is crazy, just imagine how wild Talladega is going to be. It's bad when a guy like me, and it got proven, a guy like me in Shadow Racing League could actually have a overall good race day, and that just goes to show how good that package is. Those guys get wild over there. 3, sometimes 4 wide action with this package. And trust me, be sure to go check out this channel next week to catch me and Pete and all the action that you'll see at Talladega. Trust me, you do not want to miss it.
Absolutely. Whoever that was, buddy, JN Halton 48618. I do not pay for follows. I do not pay for subs. None of that. I don't need to be that famous. But man, we are under a caution. Caution with on lap 66 of 82. 54 sitting P2. 8-car Combat Beast in P number 1. This is about to get extremely interesting. We've talked a few times about those coming off pit road, how that last pit stop is the money stop. This could absolutely be it, because when they come back around, everybody's going to fill up. There's no what to take here, because I think they get 15 or 16 laps on a tank of fuel. And don't forget Bowling's comment earlier in the chat. They can go half a lap once that counter gets down to 0. I almost wonder if that could absolutely come into play. Was Bowling looking at some kind of a crystal ball when he saw that coming? And my controller just died. That's awesome. Batteries were good before.
Pete, you had one job, man. Come on.
I tell you. Sometimes it just cuts out for the hell of it. We always joke, controller died. Well, there you go. That's proof of it. It just shut off all by itself.
Oh lordy! You know what? If you need some AA batteries, I can probably ship some over. You know.
I need something that has a little bit more energy than just double A's, buddy. You know me.
What? Hold on. You need something that needs a little more energy?
A little bit more energy, but I don't know if you've seen me on camera lately. Anytime I've had to stand up, got a little bit of a belly going on. But if we're talking about those Rays energy drinks. There's no caffeine, no sugar, low on sodium, high on energy, and I'm actually going to show y'all all the different flavors. You see that watermelon frost all the way off to the right, or there are that Phantom Freeze there right behind the sour gummy. Oh my, that is like one of those red, white, and blue popsicles. Whatever those rocket pops or whatever. That strawberry colada, amazing. The grape bubble gum. It's like the grape Big League Chew, if you remember that, or like the grape Bazooka Joe gum from back in the day. Just amazing. The sour gummy, yeah, it tastes just like a sour drink. That's pretty phenomenal as well. And man, not only those drinks, but I can also mix any of the powders that come in my Rays cup and take that whenever I need a little bit of a boost, or if I need to get to sleep. Oh man, good times. Coey, I can absolutely send you some samples. I can definitely do that. But yeah, go on over. Go to repsports.com. Repsports.com. Pick yourself up a sample case. Actually, I've got a better idea. I just got an email today. For any of y'all out there, I can send you a link. Pay attention to Twitter after the race. I'm gonna put a link out there where I can send you a sample pack of 4 Rays energy cans with some powder. And I think like the powder to help you sleep, powder to wake you up, all free. The only thing you got to cover is the shipping. So a little bit of a deal I was able to work out at the end of that. When you get there, just again put in repeat 1975 as your promo code. All you pay for is shipping. If you want something bigger than that, like a sample 12-pack or something, same exact deal. Go ahead and pick yourself up a case. And when you go to checkout, put in repeat 1975. I'll take an immediate 15% off. Definitely appreciate every one of y'all out there. Man, it's this season has been one hell of a ride. Talking about one hell of a ride, expert, we're getting ready to go. They're getting into turn number 6. Everybody should be good to go on fuel. You got the 54 double Twix car on the inside, 8-car Combat Beast on the outside. Going to turn 7, we're going to get ready to set this green one more time. Whether this is the last time of the night or not, that's yet to be seen. But go ahead and take us green when we get to the line, sir.
And right here, it'll definitely be my honor to do that once again. These guys rounding off the last corner, and they know this could be it to the end. So you have to get the good jump. The 8 had to check up so he didn't beat the 54 to the line. 54 gets one heck of a jump and one heck of a push from that 22. He's going to go off into the grass a little bit. Here comes the 22 of Yost King all over that back bumper. The 8 going to fight to the outside. He's going to try to hope to get that run through the S's. Here he goes to the inside of the 22, trying to give him room. He's got to swerve off of him a little bit, and that's what that 54 wants. A mistake, something like that, to where you pretty much give him time at this point. That 8 messed up a little bit of the bus stop, so he has to gather himself back up, get refocused, as he has to go on the charge for the 22 and the 54 now. He's going to get off the carousel and head down the final straightaway into turn number 6. He's setting up the pass here inside the 22. Has to check up a little bit more now. Here comes the 44 to his inside now, outside of turn 7. The 8 going to have to get a perfect corner here. He does off the corner. He's going to have to get set up once again as he crosses in third, but the 54 has made a huge gap into P number 1.
Absolutely. We're talking about the double deuce of old Yotes King really trying to move on up, getting better and better as the stage has gone on. And right now he finds himself in front of the 8, the guy that's clearly led most laps. One stage 1, one stage 2. He's got the 44 Baritone Boss right in his rear view. And then I believe that's going to be the 15 car of King Mathers. Oh, Mr. Where did he come from to try to challenge right now for P3? But the 8 is going to have the advantage going into the bus stop. And the 15 is going to stick right with him coming off, entering the carousel. 15 is going to try to dive low. Going to have to get on the binders just a little bit. Did not want to hit the 8. Coming off, going down this last backstretch, as you said, heading towards turn number 6. And that 54 is almost all but checked out right now.
Yeah, he's right now, he's trying to sail away to Margaritaville, but that 22 is going to try to run him down and say, But like you said, Mr. Where did he come from sneaking his way into the top 5? He's sitting right there in P4. This could be far from over.
Very, very far from over. I got that feedback again, but if you can go ahead and take care of that. And I apologize. I don't know if that's actually able to be heard out there in chat, but I can definitely hear it. So if it's coming across Discord, I probably can. I'm actually going to go ahead and keep it right here because this battle right now could have the biggest implications. When they took the green, it was with 15 laps to go. And if you were listening just a little bit ago, Expert, these guys get about 15 laps of fuel after a green flag pit stop or under caution, whatever the case may be. But man, this battle's absolutely heating up. Looks like the 8's able to get on by the 22, and there's a mad scramble behind them.
And these guys all trying to get set up. We're talking about it here. The 8 finally able to get past the 22 like you mentioned. But these guys all going crazy. A huge line. Might as well just call it a conga line here. From it looks like about 4th or 5th on back here. As the 15 getting ran into the corner by the one of, I believe that's Cole 315. And these guys all contact off the corner. Tippers already started flaring. I believe the 0 of LXTX7 was thinking about making it 3 wide. And you want to talk about these guys and how much these guys want to put themselves in a position to possibly win or be successful in the playoffs. You see it right there. The door checks, the door slams heading through the corners. The little bit of just, hey, I'm not going to give this up so easy. That shows how desperate and how much these guys want to be able to put their best foot forward and try to set themselves up. People just say, hey, it's just a championship. For these guys, this is what they race for. The bragging rights, everything that goes with being a champion and calling yourself the best. This is what these guys are racing for right now. And King Mathers knows he has a points lead to protect. Right now, he is doing everything he can to possibly put himself in the best points position to where he can set himself up for the later rounds throughout the playoffs. But that one going to dive it through the corner along with other guys. And that is not going to work out for him. The 15 able to pull back ahead. And you can see how crazy these guys are getting for position.
Yeah, absolutely. Through all that, I mean, it really seemed like the one of Colt 315 and the 15 of King Mathers maybe had some bad blood earlier. 54 completely missed the exit of the bus stop right there. I mean, he was just flat all the way through the grass, no concrete whatsoever. So, man, he's been gaining mass amounts of time. J-Pop, he's out there. That was just, I mean, that kind of was what it was. Earlier in qualifying or in practice or in connection test, he said 2 tires on the blacktop, 2 tires elsewhere, wherever you are on track. 54 was flat through the grass, exiting the bus stop. We'll have to see what the admins say about that. Now back here with the 8-car Combat Beast. He can see the 54 up ahead of him. The double deuce of Yotes King, he's there as well. Here's the 20 of Duramax with the one of Colt 315 right on his back bumper. They're going to go side by side, getting up or entering the Boy, that was a little rough. Entering the bottom of the S is Cole. Definitely looks like he's driving mad.
Yeah, and I'd hate to quote it, but right now, as the old great holy NASCAR movie of Talladega Nights says, he's driving like a pissed off teenager. He's coming after somebody or something, because definitely he is not in the best mood. We saw it earlier when he overdrove turn 1 underneath King Mathers. Not sure if that was a target to him, but he is doing everything he can to try to pick up some time. We could see a little bit of damage, so we could see how much the effects of not having the best day, probably getting caught up in some incidents, can frustrate a driver and make him or force him to lose focus and get him to make mistakes and put himself in an even worse position.
We just came across the start stripe with the 8 of Combat Beast. 9 laps to go, so here we are sitting with the 9. Oh, Q-Dog, winner of last week at Phoenix, that absolutely or completely shook up the points. From first through, I think, 7th was like 19 points. Big points implications when he did that. You see him going down the backstretch right now, or the first backstretch, heading toward the bus stop. Going to hit the brakes, get on over, try to hit every single one of these rumble strips. Q-Dog also completely missing the road and going flat through the grass. I guess that's the quickest way through, but not the way that it's supposed to be done according to the rules earlier. Showman's 08 saying the one car driving pretty dirty. One car is definitely driving mad. I gotta give you that, as the 9 comes off turn 7, heading back towards that start stripe. This is the 1 car rather, heading back towards the start stripe, and we've only got 7 laps remaining. Now, something I just thought about. Earlier, when the 54 was in the lead on a normal fuel run, he was not able to go the same amount of laps that the 8 car and the 13 car of Commando Griff and a few others were able to go. It's like that Toyota was burning extra gas. Could the 54 be short on fuel when we're talking about going the normal amount of laps that you're supposed to get on a tank of fuel? Will he have to come on down on like lap 13 or 14, where the 8 car Combat Beast, he's been able to really stretch it out?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a question. I'm going to have to see when the 8 crosses the line here. Looking at about 7 laps to go. It's going to be a big flip of the coin. I believe these guys might have to. Don't quote me on that, like I said. But we know that the 8 has been able to go longer on fuel runs than the 54 has. So if it does come down to fuel strategy, that could throw a wrench into that 54's race by a huge margin. I think that's why he's been pressing it so hard. And then now conserving once he gets to the lead is that, hey, if it comes down to it, I have the gap. I can defend. The pressure is no longer on me. It's on the 8 to catch me. So I feel like you could see the battle between the 2 different strategies already forming. It's a big question for all of these guys. Who can make it? Who can't? And who has the winning strategy? Who has the winning speed? That's what it's going to come down to.
Man, this is going to be a very, very interesting top 3. Again, the 18 to KFB 18, the 8 car of Combat Beast, and I believe right now it's either the Double Deuce or one of these other guys that have been up front all night long, rounding out our top 3. The next time Combat Beast goes through his menus, I'll try to go ahead and grab a top 5. One thing for sure, 54 is in first, 8 car is in second, and they're on lap 77 of 82. So 5 more laps around Watkins Glen to seal up tonight's race. And man, these points are going to get closer and closer and closer.
You're exactly right. And the one thing that 15 of King Mathers knows is he's going to have to string together a good performance
at Talladega to make up for what happened here. Of course, it wasn't a bad performance here, but definitely not what we're used to seeing out of this 15, and especially with that close points margin. He's got to be able to pull something together to be able to keep himself in the top standing of the playoffs. So it's going to be a big question after what happens here. But of course, KFB, he is right now sitting 6th in the playoff standings coming into this race, sitting 27 back from the points lead. Looking at Combat Beast, he's sitting 5th. He is actually sitting 25 points. Or actually, let me correct myself, 15 points, and then 17 points between 6th and 5th to the leader. So that just shows how close these points are overall.
Yeah, I mean, the points are phenomenally tight. From 1st through 5th, or 1st through 7th is just, I mean, it just passes double digits. As you watch the 13 of Commando Griff getting through the bus stop there, getting in and through the carousel. Right now, the driver in P number 3 is actually the double deuce of Yotes. I'm making up names here now. Yotes. So again, it's the 54, the 8, and then the 22 of Yotes. That's your top 3. Like I said, last time they went on by the start stripe, it was 5 laps to go. This time, as Combat Beast gets to the line, it is 4 laps to go. There is Yotes King in that double deuce. He just passed the start stripe, so that means that he's not far behind the 8 car. Could it be that the 22, he's catching the 8, but I don't think he's going to have enough time? And then just behind him, there's that 13, a Commando Grip. The guy, he's also been very, very fast all night long, trying to do the best he can to keep that 13 as clean as possible. Going down the backstretch, heading towards the bus stop. It's all winding down now, Expert.
And with these guys starting to reach the end of this race, it's coming down to the point of the strategy question is starting to go out the window more and more. And it's kind of irony. The more we talk about strategy, the more the time for it to come into play is getting further away, but it's getting bigger as a question, in my opinion. Is that as we wind down, these guys know that pitting really isn't an option at this point if you're going for the win. If you can make it, that is great. That 54 has set himself up in a great position with the gap he has to the 8, but the question still remains, can he make it? Can the 8 make it? We know he's been trying to eat into that gap and has done it very well. So right now, with only a few laps left, coming to 2 to go actually this time by, who's going to be the one to take that checkered flag is the biggest question of all.
I tell you what, the 8 car, he is flying through. I watched him go through the bus stop right there. He is doing it exactly as you're supposed to. 2 tires on the track, 2 tires up on the rumble strips, completely cutting into the 54's lead. Again, remember the 54, he was not able to go the same amount of laps that the 8 car was able to go in stage 1 and stage 2 before the cautions. So, man, you can see the 8 car coming. I mean, you look backwards from KFB 18's hood, and you can see the 8. I mean, he is just clicking them off. You can almost cue the Jaws music or the Tony Stewart, here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Because, man, I don't think it's going to be it's going to be an absolute nail biter whether or not he can get there, but he is absolutely closing in. I think the 54 is getting closer and closer on fuel, or those tires are just about gone. In fact, you know what? I am going to go ahead and come on over here, and I'm just going to put this on Combat Beast's car and see exactly how close he's able to get to KFB 18 in the closing laps. Y'all go ahead and turn it up, because you know this 8 car is hunting. There it is. He is just about on that tailgate, going through turns 6 and 7. He's got, man. Here he comes.
It's gonna be close. I'm looking at the fuel gauge too. He has hit 1 lap of fuel. It's going to be close for a lot of these guys. Lap traffic playing a factor. He's now there. We talked about his long run speed. He is there. And if he's short on fuel, just imagine if the situation the 54 is facing. This is huge. We have hit the last lap here at Watkins Glen on the final lap. No more after this one. Here we go, up the S's, heading down the back straightaway. The 54 does not want to catch the 5 here in the fastest part of the track for him, as that'll help the 8 gain, but he has no choice. The 5 is in the way. He's all over the back bumper now. As we head through the carousel, he does not want to get to the top line. He gets on the rumple strips. The 5 now blocking to stay on the lead lap. The 54 trying to find any way to get around him. We're heading to the 2 final corners here of 6 and 7. The 54 trying to back off the 8, trying to move him. Here we go into the final corner. He's going to make one last attempt. He gets the bumper. It's going to be side by side. They're door banging down the front straightaway. 54 puts him in the wall. 54, it's going to be close. The 54 wins here at Watkins Glen.
What a finish. What a finish. You talk about Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch at Darlington. They ain't got nothing on that. KFB 18 to the win. Combat Beast P2 and Yote King bringing home the top 3. Baritone Boss in 4th, Commando Griff 5th, LXTX 7 in 6th, King Mathers 7th, Cole 315 8th, Q-Dog 9th, and Duramax rounding out your top 10. Man, what a finish. Balls, Rock NASCAR, y'all couldn't, man, that you couldn't script that any better. Big congratulations and big thank you to Combat Beast for carrying that on board tonight. Amazing view.
I might need to clip that. I feel like that was one of my best calls and definitely a best moment of this season since I've been with you. What an amazing finish right there.
Absolutely amazing finish. I mean, we saw something like that last year between Watt Racing and Asbel at Darlington. That's kind of what brought back that memory of that image. But man, phenomenal race, phenomenal finish. The 5 car had every reason to race hard, because if the 54 and the 8 kind of got together, brought out a caution or something like that with 1 lap to go or whatever, man, he stayed on the lead lap. Plus, you know what? He didn't want to finish a lap down. He wanted to finish on the lead lap. Oh, yeah, Coey, I'm right there with you. Can't wait to see the penalties on this one, because there was definitely a lot of course cutting throughout the night. All right, guys and gals, we're going to go ahead and back out of this. We're going to get ready for our top 3 to visit us in the booth for post-race. It should be pretty lively. We'll be right back. Ladies and gents, we are back. One more big thank you for keeping it right here. One hell of a finish we just saw on the driver that had probably one of the best views to see it all. In that double deuce, J-Pac calls him the best driver in that 22 in any of the NNR series. Yotes, third, fourth, and third. One hell of a race. Way to bring it home. It's going to be very good for you in the overall points. They were already, super tight. From first to third was 3 points. First to second was 3 points. Second to third was like 3 points. Third to fourth was another, 3 or 4. It is absolutely super tight after Q-Dog got that win last week in the desert. You kept that double deuce pretty clean for the most part. Saw you get into a couple little scuffles here and there, but for the Glen, for the one and only road course here, race number 2 in the round of the second race of the round of 6 to crown an NNR champion. You can't be too upset with it.
No, yeah, I ain't upset with that at all. Thank God I've done a little bit of dirt racing lately, so I understood how to control the car so I didn't lose it. Stage 1, slammed the wall. It spun around, kept it going straight though, picked up my position back at the end of the stage. And then, yeah, good points for me right now. Third, fourth, and third, and then with my second place last week, this is exactly what I need to get this 6-week postseason rolling.
So now you knew that the 8 car and the 54 were really going to be battling. They were both trying to. They had the 5, a little tank right there. Tank did everything that he possibly could not to get lapped, including blocking the 54. Did you have it in the back of your mind that these guys battling, they're either going to run out of fuel, because you saw the 8 car, at least I saw, Expert and I both saw the 8 car charging as hard as he could, trying to get to the 54's back bumper, and going through turns 6 and 7, he did absolutely that. Were you hoping that they were going to run out of fuel? And if they did, would you have had enough to go one more round? Or were you hoping that, hey man, I just want this top 3 and stay put?
No, heck yeah, 100%. I was really banking on them to run out of fuel, especially KFB. We were 1 lap short. KFB, the first and second stage, I caught on a trend that he wasn't able to get there. He found it out though at the end. It was a good finish for him. But yeah, I was really banking on that to happen. I was also looking for that contact at the end because I was looking at my map. I see KFB's, Combat get closer to him. I was hoping that they were going to take each other out and I was going to be right there to steal first.
Well, man, big congrats on your P3. Again, great night in stage points as well. Hit me with the shout outs, bud.
Thank all the guys back at the shop helping me out. Dedication and family and friends, you guys especially being here every week putting this on. I appreciate you guys. And he says it, but the other best 22 in the league, J-Paw, for putting this on every week. We wouldn't be here without him.
There you go. Oh, Expert driver 8. I'm sure he's caught his breath by now. Let's see what old Combat's got to say.
He came in feeling wild after that finish. Stage 1, stage 2, and probably had one of the best finishes we've seen in NNR this season. Combat Beast, you come in 5th in points, and you definitely set yourself up to move up more than likely into the top 3. How are you feeling after that second place finish, and what was one thing that you thought could have changed and swayed that into being your race at the end? Was it a little bit more contact at the end? What would have you done differently, and what's your outlook on the moving on such a wild track like Talladega next week?
Pretty much I was really hoping the 22 to get out of my way pretty quick. Didn't really happen, so had to give him a good old bumper run after the bus stop up to get the move on to try and chase him down, and we didn't really have that much gas left, so I was really hoping I wouldn't get put in the wall, but Thank God I didn't like hit the tires or whatever that starts in the pit road. That would have been a bad idea on his end. But oh no, I thought the race was pretty good. I know he tried to run his car all the way out on gas. It's on both stages, so I just stuck it in fourth gear and hope and prayed I had enough gas left for both stages. And it was a fun race going versus him. And at the very end, I didn't even know the 5 car was in front of him, just holding him off. So I was like, I got a chance here. So I was literally giving it probably the hardest race I've ever done. Just trying to chase him down. So I'm pretty happy. Kind of disappointed, but yet I'm very happy about this race.
Definitely. And moving on to Talladega next week, you've definitely set yourself up in a good points position for the moment, but of course a long way still to go in this playoff. What's your mindset going to such a wild track like Talladega? I believe it's full setups, and knowing good old J-Pod's going to be in the chain graboid package as well. So what is your mindset heading into a make or break track like Talladega?
My plan is to go to back, save gas, and hope and pray everybody else wrecks. That's about it.
About to say, I've raced in that package as well. I know what you mean when you say that. But either way, congratulations here with the second place tonight, and good luck moving on to next week. Any shout-outs from you, man?
I like to thank y'all for broadcasting. I mean, the whole thing has been fun to watch, and the race. I'd like to thank J-Paul for hosting the Xfinity series. And yeah, thank y'all for doing this. It was really fun.
Well, thank you for such a great finish here tonight. And Pete, I think you have a first-time winner there, buddy.
First time winner. Yo, we talked about the 9 of Q-Dog breaking his drought last week at Phoenix. KFB 18. Man, if you had any kind of hangry issues, all you had to do was reach over, grab yourself a Twix, and you were good to go. Probably didn't need any of that raised energy to keep you motivated. You were very, very fast in stage 1. 8 car was able to take the stage win from you because you weren't able to go on fuel. Stage 2, second verse, same as the first. You had to pit with a lap or 2 to go. 8 car went on to take the stage. Stage number 3, you go on raw speed after a, whether you want to call it timely or untimely manual caution, where everybody's able to go on in. You were the fastest, I would think anyway, on raw speed almost the entire night. Again, stage 1, you were able to pull away. Stage 2, you were able to pull away. It was just the whole fuel thing. Not sure if it's a Yoda issue or Toyota issue here on Heat 5 or whatever the case may be. But buddy, those last 3 or 4 laps, walk us through. Did you realize the 8 was catching you the way that he was? And did you realize you were catching the 5 as quickly as you were?
I sat there and realized that I was catching 5 pretty quick. He made a couple mistakes there. About the 3 to go, he kept making mistakes, and he made a mistake in the bus stop, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to be there." And the 8's constantly running me down. I'm sitting there having to, shift to 4th, like Combat mentioned. I had to save about half a lap there, and I was about 4 seconds with about 5 laps to go. Then he cut it down. I was just sitting there trying to save and not end up like I was in the first 2 stages, and ended up being able to make it on fuel. And my left front tire was like on 3%. I didn't know if it was going to hold up or not. So just held up and got the win.
Man, you were bad fast. Now, I got to ask. There was that caution pretty early. You were able to go on down. Are you, I don't know if I've ever asked you this before, at a road course, are you generally, top of the slider, like an 8 or 9, and then snug it up if you need it? or do you start lower and free it up as the race goes on, or to your liking? Because it really looked like you were pretty fast out of the gate.
Yeah, I normally, it depends on road courses, but at the Glen, I started out with a 9, then clicked it down to 2 rounds of wedge to 48. You starts out at 50, and I clicked it down 2 pounds on wedge that way to get the turn. So I even loosened up after I started out on a 9.
Man, oh man, you came into tonight's race sitting in P number 6, just 18 points behind King Mathers. I mean, I'm actually going to show the points here in just a second in case you hadn't seen them before. But right now, the top 12 go King Mathers, Commando Grip, Q-Dog, PTH the GOAT, Combat Beast, you, Cole 315, Baritone Boss, Yotes King, Master Killer, Old Tweeter, and then the 5 of Little Tank, sitting a mere 38 points behind King Mathers. How much did the fuel issue hurt you in stage 1 and stage 2, or how much, how many points do you think you may have given up not being able to make it on fuel?
Definitely lost 20 points right there. If first place is 10 points, just go ahead and rack them up for 20.
Well, man, after a win, second race of these 6 to crown an NNR Xfinity Series champ, you got to feel pretty good going into Dega next week. Now, I'm not sure if you've ever ran the J-Power or chain graboid package where I told everybody out in chat during the stream earlier, you're going to want to catch it or go on over to YouTube and search out my channel there under Repeat 1975 and look for either a Daytona or a Talladega race for NNR, Turn Down for What, or Shadow Racing League to see exactly how that package is ran. You will not see a long conga line around that butter on the bottom at all next week. Coey said that they're going to run that in the Cup Series. We'll have to see if Swats adopts it for the trucks, but I can almost guarantee you'll run it next week. Any apprehension about Dega, or are you a restrictor plate driver?
No, I mean, I think what you're putting down is it's no single file. It's you race and double wide, 3 wide. I mean, that's what you like. That's what I like to hear, man. I like to get in there, double wide at Dega. I don't like it to be boring, but I'm looking forward to it, and it's going to be a doozy, that's for sure.
So now, I got to come to that last lap. I have to come to it. Arguably, probably one of, if not the best finish. Maybe I think it even beats out the finish between Watt Racing and Asbo last year at Darlington. You and Combat Beast beating and banging. Combat Beast could ascension in turn 6. He chose not to. We were able to see on the stream where he hit the brakes, but in turn 7 he gave you a little bit of a nudge, and he pulled side by side with you. At that point, you'd gotten past the 5, and you were door to door. I mean, they say rubbin's racing. That was just some flat rubbing all the way to the line. Walk us through those last 3 turns.
The 5 was really holding me up pretty bad, sitting there blocking me. I mean, I get that he's racing to stay on lead lap, whatever, but the white flag's out. In my opinion, he should have moved over, but that's just me. I had to come down the road and bite him in the ass, but let Combat there, and Combat gave me a nudge, like you said, in 7, and he got under me. Well, he gave me a nudge in 6 and then gave me a nudge in 7, but in 7 he got under me. And he kind of moved me up when he was getting under me, so I just paid the favor back and drove him down. Just had to watch how far I drove him because I didn't want to drive him in the inside wall, but I wanted to, drive him down. That way that stopped his momentum and then drag race it to the end, and we throw a bait ever since to the end. And it's just, I didn't know what was going to happen, who was going to get to the line first, but it ended up being me.
Well, man, big congratulations. I'm going to show the points again for everybody at home that missed them earlier, or what the points were before the race kicked off tonight. Any shout outs, any big hellos to all the KFB 18 fans out there?
Well, I just want to give a shout out to you and Pete and Expert and Balls, all you guys that put broadcaster and broadcast booth. I mean, we wouldn't be able to. It wouldn't be as much as fun without you guys. Knowing that you guys are commentating and watching, I do appreciate it. And for J-Paw putting on the show in Xfinity, couldn't thank you enough. I mean, you had a lot to deal with, and I do appreciate you putting it on for us. So appreciate it, guys.
And there you go. So again, guys, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the points for what they were before tonight's race. I mentioned King Mathers all the way back to Little Tank sitting 38 points behind. With KFB 18 getting the win tonight and Combat Beast sitting right there in P5 getting 2 stage wins, this is going to absolutely shake up the overall points. I can't wait to see what they look like, if there's any penalty points for cutting the course or what. It's absolutely going to be, next week at Dega, the points could be closer than they are right now. We'll absolutely have to see. Everybody was supposed to have 2 tires on the course at all times, 2 tires on the rumble strips or wherever they could have been around the rest of the way. So we'll have to see. But man, Expert, final comments about what we saw tonight, buddy.
We saw what we've seen all season, just the Xfinity Series being the class of the field. So happy to be able to see the ending that we did tonight. And I'm so happy to go ahead and go and watch the Cup Series tomorrow as these guys tackle it out to end our 3-day stretch of racing. And then, of course, my overall favorite track, Talladega, with how wild that place can be and how fun it is to drive. I can't wait to see NNR go tackle that track as well. It's going to be a fun and action-packed race. Be sure, I know Coey asked me about it, but be sure, go check us out. Experts of Racing. We'll be broadcasting that Cup race tomorrow. Me and Vols up here in the booth as Pete is going to go enjoy some family time. Hopefully we can do your job justice, Pete. I know it's going to be hard, but we can try.
I'm sure y'all will have an amazing broadcast. Again, Experts of Racing on Twitch. Go on over. Make sure you smash the follow button and leave notifications on every time, so you know every time they go live, whether it's for a race or for a podcast or whatever. Man, everybody out there in chat, y'all saw one hell of a race tonight. The ending did not disappoint. If you felt that the ending was disappointing, like Kyle Busch said, if you don't like that kind of racing, don't watch. No, just kidding. We love y'all here. But we'll see you back on Saturday afternoon or Saturday night, I believe, or actually I'll see you back Saturday night when Turn Down for What heads to Kansas, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, tomorrow night, old Vols and Expert live in the booth for the NNR Cup side. See if Lucky Dog and Rose can, maybe take a side seat to the 2 of Stout Whiskey, the 9 of Amore Smoke, 48 of the Aviator, 18 of Rowdy, or somebody else, maybe even a 36 of Boehner. We'll have to see. We're going to go ahead and pick up here on somebody else, see if we can't maybe, old Lacey Cool or Kyle, Keel. Lacey Cool is actually driving right now over on iRacing. Let's go ahead and set the raid. I definitely appreciate everybody that came out, hung out, chatted up, kept us company all night long. Y'all have a great night. Stay put, please. 1 second.